training is going to be on our what we call PIPO, which basically means phase in or phase out. So we have to do this in order to communicate what's going away from Samsung and what we have to replace that. So I'm sure many of you have seen EOL notices. Many of your customers have gotten EOL notices. And so we are wanting to communicate to you guys everything that has been impacted. And I hope you weren't too thunderstruck by that announcement, but we'll go ahead and get started. If you want, we're going to have a chat box open, so if you need questions or something, you can put them in the chat box or just save them to the end. There will be Q&A at the end of this. We are recording this presentation so that we can actually post it later. As soon as I get that link address, I'll send that out as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So what are the goals of this training? They're really pretty simple. One, why are these changes necessary? Two, what product is actually affected? And then answer the big question that our competitors are telling everyone is, is Samsung planning to exit the LED market? And we'll address that specifically. And then what is the impact to the customer designs? I want everybody to note there will be a short quiz at the end of this. And Samsung has their latest software in place. So I will know if you're doing emails. So please pay attention. So there are really three reasons. Why are these changes necessary? There's really three reasons. First reason and foremost is we have a technology advantage right now. Many of you probably know that we have been working a long time, and we have a long-term plan to migrate our LED manufacturing to our most advanced and most cost-effective technologies. Our EPI-UP, for example, has been in place for over 10 years. We began 3 years ago with the LH351B of actually starting to create flip chip type product. Flip chip technology provides a significant performance improvement and lends itself extremely well to migration to silicon-based manufacturing. Just so you guys know, we have already moved all our TVs and all our phones to chip scale production. And we understand those advantages, and we are reaping the rewards of those advantages in our current product offering. We want our customers to also share in our development efforts and increase that production of scale. So it's going to be very important moving forward that more and more people start doing this, because as we ramp up that scale of production, it's going to be harder to keep the cost down on the older technology. The second main reason is to maintain our competitive pricing. The pricing pressures in the LED market are extreme, and everybody feels it every day. And many of our older products, we just can't get any more cost out of them. So people are going to be looking for future cost decreases. If we don't migrate to newer technologies, we're not going to be able to offer them. Plus, since we've already moved all our manufacturing to chip scale and other flip chip type technologies, it's going to be harder for us to get that scale and offer those lower prices. So thus, to maintain our future competitive pricing, it will be impossible unless we start to adapt some of our more advanced technologies. The third main reason is design cycles are getting extremely short, guys. LED products are moving more like semiconductors these days and not like traditional lighting sources. Just as about 2 years ago, a typical design cycle in a lot of fixture companies was 12 to 18 months. Now it's 4 to 6 months. So we have to get on top of this, and we have to be moving forward, and customers are going to have to start to think in terms of semiconductor design and less in terms of traditional luminaire sources. The evolution of LED and the technology is moving too fast to do things on the time scale that it was of the previous decade. So If we don't convert our customers to using these new devices, our competitors are going to do it for us. And any customer who refuses to adopt these new technologies, you're not going to have to worry about them in a year to 2 years because they're not going to be in the lighting business anymore. They will be overpriced and the technology will be very antiquated. So we have a unique opportunity right now to help our customers maintain their competitive edge and position in their market, and in turn, we can continue to enjoy the revenue from their success in the future. So let's look at what's actually affected. So many of you have actually seen this diagram before. This is kind of showing our 100 lumen per watt line and shows where all our various products are actually reside, and this is pretty much where we're at today. So right off the bat, the LV566B, this was an 18-volt version of our 5630, had very little interest, and only a few accounts actually requested any samples of that, and I haven't seen any design wins in it whatsoever. The pricing was not right, and the lumen performance was not right. So that one's a no-brainer. That one will be EOL'd. I'll show you the timeline in the next slide or two. Our AC LEDs, the LH934A and the LH524B will also be EOL'd. They're already EOL'd, actually. These are our AC LEDs. Our competitors actually ended theirs over a year ago. We maintained it for a little while. We did have a couple of customers that were doing some pretty decent volume in these devices. But to be honest, the cost savings now, there aren't any. These devices, to hit the same lumen targets, I can do an ACOM module and provide more lumens at a lower price point while also providing them an LED that does have LM80. There are no LM80 possibilities with the AC LEDs. So if they want an LM80 product, they need to go to the other LEDs anyway, and now the pricing just doesn't make sense. So those are gone. Our 231B and our other 2323 device, the 362A, these are much older technologies. These have been out probably 4 to 5 years now, and these devices are using a silicon molding compound. That's a very expensive process, and we can't really get the cost down anymore, and we now have much lower cost alternatives to provide basically the same level of performance as those devices. So it makes sense to move on. Over in the high power, our LH351A as an apple, that was our legacy part. That's an epi up structure. The new 351B is a flip chip structure. And now the performance far exceeds, and new LM80 testing shows that the 351B actually has better lifetime performance than the 351A. And at the same time, the cost down on the 351B, we can be competitive, so we don't need the 351C. And we have an alternative to the 351Y in the LH141 chip scale part. Finally, the big boy, LM561B. This was our flagship part. While you guys catch your breath on this one, understand that there's some valuable reasons and some important reasons we need to move forward and need to EOL this one. So all in total, you're looking at 9 products, 9 different products that are going away by the end of June. Some of them are already gone, but most of them will be gone by the end of June. And I know this doesn't look good, doesn't look like a lot on that picture, but so the real question is, are we doing this to get out of the LED market like our competitors are saying? Wait just a few minutes and I'll let you decide whether that's true or not. So let's look at the new lineup that we have. So we'll start with, right off the bat, the LM561B+. This part here, guys, is an exact replacement for the LM561B. It has a different footprint, but that footprint encompasses the previous footprint. So technically, we could have done a PCN on this one. We did an EOL on it, and we're going to migrate to the B+. But for customers who are using the LM561B today, they can drop down the B+ part on the exact same footprint and continue to get the same performance or better performance than they were getting with the B. So it's not a situation to where their products are going to have to be redesigned and retested and redone everything. The most they would have to do is if they called out a specific number in their UL file, they would have to add that part number to their UL listing. So that's the worst case scenario they have. If they want to take advantages, they can do more things than that, but that's really up to them. But the main message I want to give you guys here today is that even though the B is going EOL, it is not disastrous to any of the customers. They can go right to the B, and we've done extensive testing to show the B+ works fine on the B footprint. So in conjunction with the B, we also have the LM561C, and this gets them into the 200 lumen per watt range. So we're talking very, very high performance, very high efficacy devices there. Over on the chip scale, we have the LM101A. It's in full production. We have full LM80 data ready, up to 9,000 hours now. And also we have the LM102A, which is a dual die version of that same device. Both of these two parts are excellent replacements for the older 231B and the 362A. So these are the directions the customers need to be looking at moving forward away from the older packaged devices. And then under the value, we have a whole new line of low-cost parts, the LM281B, the 282, the 283, and even a new 286B. All of these will be offered in our value of offering, and this gets us down into very, very low price points and allows you to compete directly with people sourcing LEDs from China. These devices are another good alternative to our former 231B, can also get close to the performance of the LM561B actually. So you might want to take these a serious look and make sure your customers are very aware of these. So then under our high flux category, we have the LM301A. This is the first flip chip in a mid-power package device. We also are coming out very shortly with the LM302B. This will be a dual die version, and this will probably end up taking a lot of market share from our 302A device because it'll have higher current capacity. And then to replace the AC LEDs, we're looking at ACOM solutions, so we have modules available, and we can help customers with type designs that they might want to do direct AC replacement. In addition, we're expanding our COB offering with 3 new devices using flip chip technology, the small LES 10, 20, and 40 watt. Coming in May, we're going to add our vivid color offering. This makes our COB have the most color depth with 70, 80, 90, and even 95 CRI, and now vivid color. So we have a very wide offering in COB, and I think we got a lot of opportunity there. And finally, coming out, some high power chip scale product. We're going to have an LH181A coming in May, the LH204, this is a 4 die array, and the LH309A, which is a 9 die array. These devices are direct competitors with many of the high power parts that are on the market today that are on ceramic base. The 181A actually performs about as well as our LH351B. So it's a very, very competitive part. We just coming out now with a new super LH351B that'll actually get us higher efficacy than just about anybody on the market. So looking real forward to that one. So all in all, guys, this is 21 new packages that are available. So you're losing 9, but you're gaining 21. So I'm asked that question at the top of the screen. Do you think we're planning to exit the market? Absolutely not. The Samsung, we got a long-term plan to be the #1 supplier of LEDs to the lighting industry. And guys, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So you got to keep in mind it's going to take time. But as we take our technological advantages along with our competitive pricing that we can move forward and then leverage our own internal production, I don't think anybody's going to be able to touch us. So to address the 561B issue, people are concerned about the land pattern. This is the two land patterns actually overlaid on top of one another. The magenta color is actually the 561B, and then the other dark color is the 561B plus. And you can see that they perfectly overlap each other, and they can solder down directly. And we have customers who are doing this, and we've already doing this for some customers. So no problem there, direct replacement. This chart I threw in because I kind of wanted to show you the overall picture is another way of looking at it. These are all the devices that we're offering today, and you can see the ones that are in yellow are using the older epi-up architecture, and the ones that are in blue are using the new flip chip. So you kind of see a pattern evolving, more and more devices moving to flip chip, getting the stage set for when that silicon production is viable. So this slide here, and this is something I can send out to you guys. Some of you may already have it, but basically it talks about the devices that are actually going EOL. You can see that the 231A, the 566B, 351Y, and the AC LEDs all actually went EOL in December. And then the 362A will go EOL in April, and then everything else will be EOL in June. So you can see down the board, pretty much all the packages, with the exception of the AC LEDs, have an alternative that we can offer to customers and provide a significant improvement in their technology, and future pricing is the key. So with the 561B going, there's a big impact to our modules. So that was our flagship part, and many of our modules, vast number of them, all use the 561B in their design. So this chart here basically shows you which modules are going to be impacted. And so I kind of color-coded it here. Everything in green has basically a footprint-compatible, performance equal or better, drop-in replacement. So there's really no major impact to the mechanicals or even the UL testing for that part. Some of these devices would have a slight part number change, but depending upon how you had the UL written, they may not even have to do anything. The ones in yellow, or the one in yellow, is an alternative, but there is mechanical difference there. The 32 lam had a different number of fingers than the 30 lam. So we're still going to offer the lam module, but it will be a lam 30 instead of a lam 32. And then finally, the ones in red, these are the ones that we don't have a replacement for, and that they're just simply going away. So the H and E series, we had very little adoption here in the U.S. on those, so I'm not too worried about that. The A series, we had several customers that found that board to be pretty viable, and unfortunately, it's not high enough quantity to actually continue that product moving forward. And then obviously the Gen 2, the older ones based on the 231A, are going away as well. So that's all the modules. I have documents. You can see here there's Word documents that you can type in your customers if they do not have this information. Most of this information has been distributed to the distributors already multiple times. But if any of you guys need this, contact Tony or myself, and we can get you these documents so you can notify those guys about the changes coming.